What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte. And guys, we have to go over an interesting topic today. So obviously the NHL is still on pause, or is just coming back from the pause. So we have an interesting little bit of content to give to you guys. There was a recent graph that was released the other day by a fan survey on Reddit that I saw, and it's been trending and been going crazy, so I figured I'd jump in on it. The most annoying NHL fan bases according to you guys, the fans. So, pretty interesting how this came out. Now, I think there is a little bit of an extremity to the first team in particular, but it's definitely you could see that it makes sense. But it's just very interesting to see how this graph turned out. There's a couple of teams on here I'm actually surprised where they sit. They're actually much lower than I thought they would be. So we'll be going over that. So, excuse me. I do want to mention that not all 32 NHL teams, oh, Jesus, are on this list. So I guess take that as a good thing. If you're a Seattle Kraken fan, or what other team is on here? The Dallas Stars aren't on here. Who else isn't on here? I don't see the Florida Panthers, so my Panthers jersey kind of been bowed today, but it's a new jersey. I gotta wear it, right? So I'll show you guys the list here right now, but this is very interesting. So you're looking at it, right? There is a huge outlier for the first team, and unfortunately my fan base is in there as well. So the first team, by basically doubling the second place team, is the Toronto Maple Leafs as the most annoying fan base in the NHL. Congratulations, Leaf fans. Everybody in the NHL hates you. Good job, guys. Great job. Now, that's pretty hard to do considering number 2 is Montreal, and they are basically half of that, which is just absolutely insane, because there's a huge fan base in Toronto. You're either, if you live in Canada, especially the older audience, you either have a Leafs fan or a Habs fan in your house. That's just from what I've seen from different things and talked to different people. It's either Habs or Leaf fans. And then the younger generations, it's more the Vancouvers, the Oilers. Again, it kind of depends on the era you started to get into hockey. But I think it's interesting that the two Canadian teams that we all pretty much expect were number 1 and number 2. Now, this is where things get interesting. So now we see our first not North American team, our first U.S. team, and that is the Boston Bruins. So the Boston Bruins have obviously had some success. I think there's always this aura to the city of Boston, especially with their fans. You look at Red Sox fans, in particular, very, very much known for their antics, as well as Patriots fans, the New England Patriots. So this is no real surprise that the Bruins are 3. And number 4, we get our third Canadian team here out of the top 4. 3 of them are Canadian teams. It's the Edmonton Oilers. Obviously, all that success in the 80s, they have built up a pretty devoted fan base, and really devoted fan base for the lack of success over the last couple of decades. But the Oilers have always been a big draw because they have the greatest player in NHL history, Wayne Gretzky. So obviously their numbers have done very well in Western Canada in particular. So if you're a little more West Coast, if you weren't a Leafs or a Habs fan, you were probably an Oilers fan, and that's putting it lightly. So it's no real surprise to see the Oilers there. Another orange and blue team happens to be number 5, and they happen to be playing at the new UBS Arena. That's the New York Islanders. Now, bias. I'm just saying. I'm biased. I'm an Islanders fan. But I completely understand where this is coming from.